Hey Nico, how's it going? Actually, all right, I am here to is a little bit dark. Hey Vocal Tech, how's it going? That might help the coloring. Yeah, we're here for some legacy testing tonight or today. It's not quite nighttime yet. Pretty stock list. I'm gonna run it through a league to see how I like it. In the event I play the showcase tomorrow. A couple of, I guess, explanations. The split between cut and stuff out is really dependent on what you want to hedge against. I want to be a little bit safer against blue red, so I think the cuts are actually better. The snuff outs are more of a blowout against green decks and Aether Vial decks, but I don't think we really need help in those areas for a blowout. Obviously, if you play against something like Green White Depths, this card is a time walk. But I don't think we need that kind of haymaker against Green White Depths or whatnot. Um, I think the list is pretty stock. The only thing kind of abnormal here is the Force of Vigor. I do think there will be a good amount of Moon Stompy and 8 cast tomorrow, so that is like a slight hedge there. Obviously has text against DNT as well. I don't think we need too much help against DNT, but it helps. 8 casts, sure, if we want to blow them out even more. Um, but yeah. I definitely think we can't go below 6 dedicated cards against combo. I just do not want to lose the combo. This is actually dangerous by my standards. Ideally, I could even have like two more Mindbreak traps, right? Yeah. The thing is, like the really good DNT players are not playing the deck right now, so it kind of hurts them. I think like John Bryan Hamilton is playing like Moon Stompy, and I don't know if Jason Murray has been playing it, but I know he will toggle between that and Green White Depths. So a lot of times when the big innovators of a deck like don't play, people start to drop the deck, and the reason is um, right. So the reason being is because they want to be efficient with their time. So if they are not like if they don't get a kick out of brewing and just like testing, it just doesn't do them any good, right? Um, and I've seen this firsthand as well. Like I remember 2 years ago, or I guess a year and a half ago, during the Magic Online Championship Series, the when I was competing for the mocks and I had to take a month and a half or so off, more like a little more than a month. The nobody, everyone stopped playing this version. Not that it was popular at the time or anything, but the people who did stop playing the version because it's just oh well, we'll just wait till Newton comes back and then he can update the list for us. So like in terms of like time management, I think that is smart. So I don't really fault anybody for doing that. Like it's only if you really are passionate about deck or if you just like brewing and testing in general, then sure. But I do think that's probably the correct play time wise. Yeah, it's fine. Oh, nice. Yeah, I do think D&T has like reasonable matchups, a fair matchup. I do think the issue with D&T, as somebody who has played only the the boomer version, the 60 card version, I feel like we're gonna get Griselbrand here. Yeah, I think also Oloro. The other thing is, well, the thing is, if they have the Entomb here, we're gonna lose anyways. So we might as well ramp and hope they're not. Pretty sure we're gonna get Entombed here. Yep. Yeah, I think leagues just in general, there's a lot of combo, and especially, I think Reanimator is like a decent matchup for DNT. But some of the other decks I think are very hard. Like the Epic Gamble, I would imagine is very difficult. The Epic Storm, I would imagine is very difficult. Uh, I don't know how the Ant matchup is. I'd imagine that is probably a little bit closer, but probably still on the more difficult side. But Reanimator is probably the one good matchup, I guess, for DNT. That's combo. Sure. Yeah, so I essentially took the I took a calculated risk that they're gonna have Bristlebrand here on turn two. Notably interesting that they fetched Underground C though. I don't know if that's to throw me off because that tells me they're on the show and tell plan. Yeah, for sure, Oloro. I definitely, yeah, and being a little bit slower definitely helps. Being a non Force of Will player as well, I can attest to that. That TEG is very difficult. I will always lose to Tony Scapone. So luckily, actually, to hedge against that, I've changed my timing tonight to play earlier, so I wouldn't. I can dodge him, right? I will lose to Tony Scapone like every other league. It seems like, or on stream. Yeah, that one I'm a little bit curious about. I haven't seen it personally. I just feel like those decks, these Wombo combo decks, like can never beat Delver in my opinion. Or maybe not never, but like it has a very difficult time. So I don't really understand. I mean, it's more fun, I guess, but like I just don't think you're gonna beat Delver for the most part. Um, they're gonna mind twist us anyways, so we might as well just play everything and hope to get lucky. Like Delver is really good against picking apart these decks that are just like really fragile. Which is why it has historically done worse against these creature combo decks because the creatures have text. Uh, I, I know like elves like the win rate against Delver in like these bigger events is like 30 some percent. Uh, so I imagine that it's more difficult now for most elf players. I do think a lot of that is also because on average, if I were to guess, the Delver player is just a better player than the elf player. And I'm not trying to be mean, but from my observation against playing against Delver players, especially in leagues where they tend to be spikes. Again, and against when I play the mirror match, where I see a lot of sequencing issues from the opponent, um, from the elf opponent, right in the mirror. I think on average the average Delver player is better than the average elf player, and I think that's partially why the win rate is what it is. Also, the other thing is like in the matchup right now, um, the Delver player is seemingly just casting spells at random. Like everything they do outside of maybe turn 4 and 5 doesn't really matter. Like if they mess up, like because it tends to not really interact. Um, it tends to not matter, right? The sequencing against the elf player, whereas The L player, you make one mistake, you probably just lose the game on the spot in that specific matchup. Um, so we got one turn here, and we probably have to use the reclaimer for the bog. The So they're playing the blue version, which means we're probably dead. The the exception to that is obviously if we top deck the Allosaurus Shepherd, and they actually, yeah, if they draw 7 here and then just don't do anything, right? If we top deck the Shepherd, we actually have lethal potentially. I'm like still on the fence between the Shepherd, the fourth Shepherd, and the second Birch Lord personally. The reason being is because obviously the Shepherd is a KO against these Chalice decks, which are popular. But drawing 2 at the wrong time is pretty bad when you're playing against something like Green White Depths. Now, notably, um, maybe that's less of a meta percentage, so that could be worth it. But I really don't like having dead cards in my hand. I think the way Elves loses for the most part is not being able to, like, having awkward draws, right? The fail rate kicking in. Yeah, endurance. I think you want 4 in the 75 just because they do too many things. And I'm playing currently 6, I believe, discard spells. Let me see. 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Sure. They could be. Well, no, it's probably reanimator. This is too many, not reanimation targets to be tin fins. Brutality is kind of interesting though. Don't know why they. Oh shit! I messed up. I was supposed to fetch for. I clicked through that. I was supposed to fetch for Arbor. No. Notably, Lair the Hydra, I think, wins in this spot too. Right? Because you make 4. Sorry, 3. Well, you animate it, and then you make 4. Yeah, okay. I'm playing kind of sloppy right now. I mean, it probably doesn't matter, but like I would deck thin 1 deeper. Um, they probably have Forcible in their hand, I would imagine, because they're playing blue. But again, not a little sloppy on my behalf. I sideboard in all of them. Vogotech. Mole. Mole. Um. One thing though, I have to look at the replay, but again, having fewer cards there made me have to mull twice. Why are they? What is going on? Playing agent? Entomb reanimate. So this is like super bad. Don't give me answer, but why don't I play Blue Red Delver? I don't enjoy it. That's probably the easiest answer. I mean, I own it in like older versions of Delver on paper. I don't really enjoy the deck, but maybe I should just to win. Uh, that's actually not a bad question, Olaro. I don't mind these kind of questions that are may seem rude, I guess, but I personally don't mind them. This is kind of tough, right? They have the combo, but then the agent is like really bad against us. Ugh. Yep, I think we just have to do that. If our opponent is smart there, they may just main phase the opposition agent. The reason being is because I can play around it now that I know about it and just fetch when they Dark Ritual for it. So I think that's what they're doing. Yeah. That's what the heck? Oh man. So I guess it was like the Entombsday deck. It's too bad. I didn't think that they were on any kind of like transformational sideboard, only because it seemed like there was a lot of it only because it seems like there was a lot of reanimation targets, but I mean that's okay. They definitely got us in this situation, right? I think the only way we can do anything about that now is if we probably honestly lose regardless because I don't think we can give them the reanimation. So I just don't think that's a winning line in most of the situation. Like we're gonna assume our opponent knows what they're doing, especially since they're not playing the blue red version, right? Like they're casting cantrips, so it's not like they're a new player trying to learn or pick a deck that is easy, right? I don't think so. We lose in the following turn, right? We have to exactly top deck. Like then the problem is then they go enter end of step entomb and then reanimate, and we lose the game because my line there was I can beat agent hopefully, but I don't. I honestly I don't think it really matters in this case. I think we would have lost regardless if we took the other line. Taking Dark Ritual is what I'm saying. Ideas Unbound probably. Sure. Interesting take there. Our bluffing helped, but not really, right? Now we can just top deck the endurance, and then maybe that's enough. Nice. All right, let's see what's up. Take the reanimate. Play that. They know our hand. We probably lose here, but we'll see. Well, we knew their hand actually. It's possible we just don't do anything because what ends up happening is maybe they play scared because okay they did that, so it didn't matter. I mean, if they have, they're gonna go for it regardless. So my guess is the last two cards in their deck are two oracles or cantrip plus oracle. All right. I don't think. Well, actually, one thing I want to check for is so they had turn two reanimation spell. So game one was a lost cause. I want to see like what we had in the first two hands because that means maybe our density is just not high enough in terms of like graveyard hate. Yeah, I can't keep that, and we're just flooding out. Okay, so that's reasonable. I guess we can just chalk that up to variance. One second while I respond to somebody. All right. Next match. I don't think that's. Um, I don't think I mind the result too much of that. Like sometimes they have it. We won a 5 game too, and we kept a discard spell right. And unfortunately, their hand was pretty. Well, they top decked the Doomsday. What are we gonna do? And they had the agent too, so it's like we're probably losing regardless. Our only line there was to hopefully they try to get us by Dark Ritual, opposition agent and step, and then what we do then is just fetch in response to that. If they do it main phase, then it is what it is. And hopefully the reclaimers can just go the distance as 3/4, right? I really think we would have lost that game regardless. Maybe I should just play Yorion. Every time I play Yorion, I tend to have good luck. I do think the deck, for what it's worth, is worse, but maybe it's just a good luck charm, right? Yeah, so I'll bring up the list again. It really depends how safe I feel against combo. Like, I think discard is a must. Alright, we're playing against somebody that's 1 and 3. That might not be good for us. They're probably on some kind of bad combo deck. Okay. Probably name Wasteland, I would imagine. I don't know. I think it's the mono black depths deck. Yeah. Reasonable name in the dark. Can't fault that. I think here we're gonna leave the wooded foothills for a arbor because we have too many lands. Um, oh, I think we take the heritage druid for speed. Hey Ming Empire, how's it going? Yeah, I think we go turn one reclaimer here, and then depending on what we draw, there's a couple ways around it, right? I think if we draw one drop elf, I'm tempted to just go one drop heritage, visionary, wirewood, and go. Sure. That's something to keep in mind. So if in the future we're on the play, we will want to main phase the reclaimer activation. I think given that we have another, actually that was a mistake. We have the, actually yeah, that's fine. I think we fetch here. The one of the hard things I think about this deck is balancing speed with action. Uh, because it's not there's no like there's no formal rule. It's kind of like by feel, and I think that's why this deck can be difficult to play at times because a lot of it is by feel. Now, notably, our opponent has now the Dark Depths. If they have the Merit Late, sorry, if they have the Hex Mage here, we probably just what is going on? Oh, okay. So they just want to make another what? Oh, that's a mistake. They could have made a thing with Saga. Don't know why they did not. Um, we're under a lot of pressure anyways. So I don't think we can just hold up mana, right? Like for the Beseju. I think we play this and like not take life. I don't. There's not gonna be another turn for Reclaimer. Well, okay. They attack. They attack again. Yeah, I think we have to get the Shepherd here in case we top deck a Cradle. Just finished a 4-1 league. Cannot seem to get a 5-0. Lost to Snake. It happens sometimes, Ming Empire. Wouldn't be too down on there yourself. Okay, there's the Cradle. Four one is still good, and I think sneak if you don't have enough discard. I don't know how many you're playing, Ming, but I think if you don't have enough discard, it's gonna be hard. I wouldn't in this current metagame. I would not play fewer than 6 discard. Like again, I want to stress the importance of knowing where your deck is in the metagame, and for us, I think we are the combo deck. Sorry, we are the non-blue deck that can beat combo. So I do not think you should be giving that up, if that makes sense. Our opponent screwed up, by the way. They could have had an extra attacker that would have made it potentially awkward for us, but it's neither here nor there. Sure. Interestingly enough, they're at 18. Alright, Shepherd activation is not lethal, so I'm just gonna try to dig and see if we can dig into like answers, right? Notably do not want to fetch here. Feel like our opponent's probably misplaying, but I could be wrong. We actually have a second turn because of this. If we do that, that's 8. We want to play around the top deck discard spell for what it's worth. So I think we want to. Oops, cancel. If they needle the thing, it's a little awkward, but yeah, like I said, I just think it's very important to know like where your place is in the metagame. Natural order here is lethal. Okay, that's fine, I guess. All right, we got it. The reason why I visionary I green sun for 2 instead of 1 is because you want to keep heritage mana in mind. I see people screw this up all the time. The game is over. We're gonna go to 1 and then we're gonna hit them, kill them on the crackback. Our opponent really threw the game earlier with not making the thing with the saga. So again, I wouldn't put too much weight into this matchup. I think we would have won anyways, but I'm almost fairly certain our opponent did not take the best lines. Sometimes it's hard to if they don't know the matchup, right? Like, I think the Force of Vigor here is actually kind of insane. Hitting a Saga is nuts tempo wise. I think the cuts are good because we're gonna expect either and or plague agent and or opposition agent. I like the seizes as well. I don't love the duress or the snuff out. I also like keeping the one of endurance to tutor for to buy a turn if need be. And then I do not think we have time to glimpse of nature in this matchup. And then we can bore down like some number of visionary waterwood. It's a little slow. Yeah, I just don't think you're gonna beat combo if you don't have Chalice, Force of Will, or Thoughtseize. Like discard in more than four quantity of 4, right? I think this is fine. We have a Reclaimer. Keep. Also, you can't really go to 8 discard either because then things like Veil of Summer become a concern. In game 3, I got Archon named Instant because he had to put Intuition in his hand. Perhaps I should have named Sorcery. Because he top deck Show and Tell and then won from there. Did you know their hand fully? If you have full information, then you're not playing around top decks. Oh my god, I'm nervous about getting got here by Dark Ritual Opposition Agent. Alright, we faded that. I'm gonna seize here and see what happens. Interesting. That their lines are kind of strange, honestly. I think given that they have the depths here and we don't have the answer yet, we're just gonna take the Hex Mage. Because of this, our Reclaimer is never going to be big, and we actually are not awkwardly are not going to have to be able to turn on the Murderous Cut anymore. That is definitely a drawback that I was not really anticipating. I do think though we don't have a payout, so I think I'm gonna ramp. Obviously, they could have draw removal, which would make our line more awkward, but I think it's probably correct here. We're going to shield down anyways, so might as well try to shield down and play towards our top decks, which tend to be good. Also, notably, I'm streaming earlier today because I know Europeans have a hard time catching my streams. So it just so happened that I think in this situation, well, they're on sneak, right? I think I would probably just name sorcery still because intuition is kind of slow. Although they could intuition for like a bounce spell or something. That's like very awkward. The drawback of murders being seen here. Although to be fair, I don't know how correct it is to keep this in against us. Well, that's pretty good. I think we want to protect the Reclaimer. We'll pass. Notably, actually, potentially should have named the. Oof, that's annoying. So they have a 2020 available if they want it. I think we have no choice. Well, let me see. Is the hoof lethal through the 2020? And I don't believe. Well, let me see. If we draw a creature, it would be. If we don't, then it's like really awkward. So in this case, if we get the Cradle, they block the hoof. We play. If we don't have a land, if we don't have a creature, we play the Shepherd for the turn. That's the hoof, and then everything gets +5. That would be 6, 6, 6, and 6. So 6 by 4 is 24. We'd be short still. So I think we have to take the Caracas for the turn. Unfortunately. Obviously, we get punished here if this is a creature, right? Close enough. So if we visionary here, that's not gonna be enough for the cradle. I think we keep both actually. Well, technically we could have played a one drop. Actually, we can play them both. This doesn't play around a discard spell, but if they let me see, if they have a discard spell that's five, I think we probably lose anyways. Let me see, because this would be five, six, seven, eight, nine, and we're still short. So we can't afford to play around discard. Are you worried they'll be pitting needle or map their saga? I don't think mapping their saga would matter, right? Needle on the reclaimer. I'm just gonna preemptively get the guy's cradle. Map for wasteland. Okay, okay. I got distracted. That's fine. That's actually okay because then I can just pitch this, right? They're not playing. I screwed up there. I should have response pitched the Bayou. I still think it's correct here to pitch the Bayou for the guy's cradle. Um, Notably, actually, hold on. We'll do it this way. And now I think we have lethal. So they can block the hoof, but everything else is like huge. We made the one misplay, but they didn't recognize it. Like they were tunnel vision into the Caracas name, which I don't think we actually care about. This is like 40 damage, right? So they block the hoof and we deal 40. The key thing here too is like using the Caracas for the colorless. Because otherwise we'd be short. Mapping for wasteland would have been scary though, because that's probably how we can win, right? Like the natural word for lethal. But I don't expect an opposing player to be able to figure all that out. Like there's a lot of elf players who don't even know this. That's probably the biggest advantage of this deck, because it is difficult to play. If you can get over the learning curve, you probably have a huge advantage in terms of like regular gameplay because people don't know how this deck works. Yes, Langlands. That's actually a good observation. I didn't even consider, but yeah, that would have been smart. Now, obviously, yeah, that would have been smart for sure. They needled the whatever, but then I don't even know. I need to check if they have mana. They might have been able to. The biggest difference is Elvish Reclaimer opens up a whole different set of lines that are unique to the deck. It makes the deck more difficult to play, but also increases, in my opinion, the power level significantly. So, like, I think Reclaimer personally is probably the second best creature in Legacy behind only Murktide Regent. And the reason why it's not ahead, obviously, because its Murktide is one blue, so it goes into the shell better. Reclaimer not only is not blue, it does not really fit in their shell. Uh, the thing I get asked a lot is, oh, don't you lose a lot of speed? The speed is actually very overrated, in my opinion, because the Nettle Sentinel, you need two things for it to work, right? You need not only the Heritage Druid, but you also need the Glimpse of Nature. So that's a lot of moving parts. In a Goldfish, yes, I would agree that there is maybe a one turn speed difference in a Goldfish. However, how many decks are allowing you to Goldfish? Like on average, like probably just a combo mirror, right? And which case you don't really want it to get into a combo into a racing situation, anyways. The reason being is because these combo decks tend to have Dark Ritual, and Dark Ritual compared to Heritage Druid is not really a fair speed comparison, right? I think here we keep. I don't know what they're on, but okay, maybe I guess we got the buy. But that's probably the number one question I get asked. Oh, but what about the speed? Again, I think it's very overrated because, like I said, not only do you need Heritage Druid, you also need the Glimpse of Nature. And in most situations, okay, we can't even get the collective, but that's fine. In most situations, here we're gonna leave with the Shepherd because we won't want them to randomly force our stuff. In most situations where you can race, you don't want to race. No, no worries. Any question is valid. Zachrom 23. The downside is, and I felt like a lot of the traditional old school elf players, the downside is they have a very difficult time playing this deck because it is significantly more difficult in my opinion because you have to be clean with your glimpse sequencing, and especially if you're an older player. I noticed a lot of players are not like they play. They're very sloppy with their sequencing, and I think that loses them games that they shouldn't, right? Like I sequencing is huge in this deck, and I just want to emphasize that, I guess. And I just think that majority of players cannot sequence properly. So here we have 3 mana, and again, I don't know how many players are gonna make the correct play that I just like. You should not have to think about this. That's the other issue, right? It is not an easy deck to pick up because a lot of these lines are not very intuitive. Yeah, I think it's significantly harder because it's less. The lines are often not intuitive, like with Reclaimer, and I think that's what makes the deck difficult. So here, um, playing 3 L's before your Glimpse is not something that is intuitive, so to speak. All right. We're pretty ahead now. We gotta draw one, two, three, four cards with the glimpse of nature, right? On turn two. Hey, Carl. I'm hoping you're enjoying the deck so far. I actually have found my personal experience is if you have never played Elves before, the original version, that's actually to your advantage because you don't like you don't tunnel vision yourself into these lines that are otherwise kind of bad. Like what I mean by that is um, I found people who played the other version, myself included, by the way. I played the other version for multiple years before. What ends up happening is you all you see is glimpse of nature, and you just want to glimpse really badly. When oftentimes that's not the best play. And my personal opinion is the majority of games lost with this version that I've seen, and just in general from elves, is due to sloppy sequencing. Like they just, I cannot emphasize how important that this is for this deck because one mistake and you probably lose against Delver especially. Yeah, I think regardless of the version you play, Zach, uh, you're gonna be favored against 8 cast, and the reason is twofold. One, we only have three, but the traditional build has four outsourced shepherd, which means all your disruption don't matter. So that's number one. Number two, we have a silver bullet in the form of collective, which means your deck no longer functions. All right, the one of force pretty good here. Um, it's kind of funny. The other day I won a game because of Progenitus. I don't actually think it's good, so I'm bored it out. Or I guess you could just win with the Beseju they saw. Uh, yeah, like we've already drawn four, and presumably they're just wait. The thing is, like their clock is not fast enough too. Is the other issue with that deck? I think we want the snuff out. Yeah, I've had players concede to me before. They see Hello Newton, and it's just like I don't want to play this matchup, so they just concede turn zero. It's that bad. Does it mean you can't lose? Of course not. Like you can lose, obviously, especially if you disrespect them and don't just kind of like cast spells at random and just like and they have the nuts, so to speak, or you mulligan five, whatever. But in general, it's like an 80-20 matchup. It's that bad. Uh, there's like some merit for the bog. I don't think we want it though. The first endurance like it's like interesting. I think we want the extra creature. Progenitus is like I don't think we want it to be honest. I think we just want to kill them with hoof. Not what I meant. uh, 5 lands. I think we gotta put it back. But yeah, hopefully today's stream is like significantly more useful for the European viewers. I know I've gotten some requests from Inigo and some others about the time that I normally stream, and hopefully this is like nice. All right. Keep. So the question here is like, um, I think we put the wirewood back. Actually, the endurance kind of does stuff. Actually, no, I think we put the endurance back. It's kind of bad. So Langlands, the issue tends to be that the 8 cast player cannot cobble up a fast enough clock before you draw like 80 cards. Yeah, that's not too bad at all, Zach. I was gonna start earlier, but then I fell asleep. And then I was just like very groggy. I took a midday nap. For reference, right now it's 3:48 here, p.m. Might be a chalice of the void. Sure. I think here what we're gonna do is we're gonna fetch to thin, get a bayou so that our snuff out is live potentially, and hope that Once Upon a Time sees a Allosaurus Shepherd. Now, obviously, here not having the fourth Shepherd hurts a little bit, and but there is some consideration for playing the fourth over the second Birch Lord. I do think though that drawing multiple Shepherd is not very good, so that's kind of why I play three. Okay, so here super punish, right? Maybe this is the second Birch Lord, and that could have been a Shepherd. Um, I think we take it anyways though. But this matchup is like super good, so maybe it's still fine. I think there is some merit to just cut the Birch Lore and play, especially with Moonstomp be presumably really popular. So uh, maybe in the second league I run the. We could do that too, Zach round 23. I just felt between three Shepherd and four Green Sun and Once Upon a Time, like already a decent enough chance to see it, right? Notably here, no clock from an opponent is pretty bad for them. How do you like that? But yeah, it's entirely possible we just want the four Shepherd because the upside is so much higher, and we live with it when it's a little awkward. So there is that. The one good thing so far going for us in this matchup is, at least so far, our opponent hasn't presented a clock, so we can draw out of it. There's the second Bayou that Zach mentioned. Thank you, Inigo, for posting my socials. Yeah, for those of you who enjoy my content, again, you can subscribe to Patreon, but also if you have like a free Amazon Prime subscription, I will personally send you the Patreon metagame update that I do once a month. And I've done it to a few subscribers already. So please uh, do that if that's more convenient and you already have that and don't want to spend the $5 for Patreon. Obviously, I know I some of my followers are in high school or whatnot as well, so I know they don't have a job. So I try to be a little bit more cognizant of that. Not gonna name any names, but I'm gonna cough a certain individual out. No, I'm just messing. There is one person I'm thinking of exactly right now. At least on online, it's pretty cheap. This deck, for the most part, is cheap online. I think I don't know what it is right now. I have to look it up, but I thought it was like only like 400 to 500 tickets before. It went back up because Shepard went back up in price, and so did Paseju. It's on the lower side by legacy standards. I don't remember what that is off the top of my head. Yeah, one is a nice number. That tells me you probably play EDH, right? Is that accurate, Zach? Sure. Notably, we haven't drawn anything relevant. Like, it's not even the chalice that's killing us here. It's just that we haven't done anything relevant as well. Obviously a glimpse of nature off the top here would just be nuts, but we shall see. I think the one discrepancy between Inigo and my main deck is the number of Boseiju. While I love Boseiju, I do value being able to cast my discard spells on time. Mm, that is very good. What I'm gonna do here is lead with two Druid because that will disincentivize my opponent to just randomly force cards. Now, if that's an Echoing Truth, we get a little bit punished. Alright. I think here we can go Reclaimer into Wirewood. Into Bounce. Untap. Into shut off their deck. They notably have a island now, so that helps them, but like all their baubles and other stuff is now no longer relevant. So here we're just hoping to tap deck a natural order or whatnot. I don't love getting a shepherd here because sometimes they have Psy, and that's a problem too, right? The construct. So I think what I'm gonna do here is if they don't do, I'm gonna bet if Earthcrack gets unbanned, Els will use. My guess would be no, but I'm hoping I'm wrong. I don't think so though. I don't think it's good enough. There like it's essentially a Nettle Sentinel, and maybe there's like an all-in version with that. That's possible, but my gut would be no. The reason why I pulled back the Druid there was in case we top deck a Glimpse. What that also does is it allows for some cool sequencing here with Reclaimer notably. Actually, what we should have done was played. I don't think it matters super much, but what we should have done was just play the Heritage first. So we get the extra mana off the Cradle, and then active. We're gonna deck thin essentially right now. The Emery is interesting though. I think we get the Caracas, and then play this. I'm not gonna reveal the other Cradle. little bit awkward for sure because I lost my yeah, otherwise I can't thin anymore the following turn. So yeah, we'll do it this way. I missequenced a little bit, but I don't think it matters too much. So what this does here is I still have 2 mana. Well, actually, that's not true. If I cared enough, I would have done it correctly. Again, I'm talking about sloppy sequencing. That is an example of sloppy sequencing there, right? Presumably, they probably get a needle here, so it probably doesn't matter. Cage is like a possibility as well. So there's a cage. So if I had done it correctly, I wouldn't have needed to use the second Bayou, um, and be able to do what I wanted to do, right? So what I should have done there was like still get the Cradle, and then bounce on the opposing upkeep. Sorry, on the opposing end step. Untap the Reclaimer. Use the 2 Bayous. Pitch one of them for the Caracas. That would have been a better line, because that gets me one extra deck thin. Okay, that's not good. Our opponent threw right now though. They should have got Shadow Sphere. They had the Dismember. But of note, like this potentially not being the fourth Shepherd, pretty relevant here. Because we wouldn't have to have used up our Boseiju. We wouldn't have needed to use up our Boseiju there to blow up the Chalice. So something to keep in mind. Our opponent is at 12 minutes. Either they're lagging or they need to speed up their pace of play. I think, well, do we care? They can play a Chalice. They targeted the Chalice of the Void already, right? I don't think we block cancel. Presumably they play the Chalice here. I mean, doesn't make sense not to. What the heck is going on? Oh wait, they have a Brazen Bar. Maybe that's why. Ugh. So I'm gonna do this correctly here, actually. They have 5 damage in the air if they cast a Brazen Bar. Notably, they can block this. That's 3. A little 1. but we can't cast it through the. Wait, they didn't play the chalice. This is like crazy strange. Actually, they Cage blocks Emery. Oh, that's a good point. Biardo, I forgot about that. I think in this situation we attack with all because they have to block the reclaimer. And decent chance, honestly, we stabilize. They have a couple of constructs here that we just like chump block if need be. Sure. Notably here, they probably don't have a removal spell anymore. I'm not even sure we're playing around that. If they attack with both, they just die. I don't think we even play around that a removal spell. Okay, there's that. They should have did that last time, but now it's a problem. So that's 5 plus presumably another 5. That's 10 that we can't stop. Plus this. Okay, they got us. So again, this matchup I think is kind of good to see, um, and perhaps that means we should just play the fourth shepherd. I really don't want to, honestly, but maybe we should. Although to be fair, we probably win this game 3 anyways, but we'll see. Maybe I'll jinx myself. Neck is killing me. I don't think so. Like Murderous Cuts in this matchup takes a while to get online. Uh, Not great. Again, we see the Birch Lord here, right? Notably, I think we keep it. It's not the worst. I kind of keep whatever hands. Maybe that's a fault of mine. It's not great, but again, I think it's like good enough to keep. I don't like to mull in general. We take the land here. Reason being is also like we can hard cast some of these cards later on. Maybe our opponent will just time out. Like, what is going on? It's gotta be lag because it doesn't make any sense. Turn one chalice, probably. Yeah. So here, yeah, I think we have to play the fourth shepherd, like because it just wins against certain decks, right? Um, it's like awkward to have to use up a sage on their chalice here. Our opponent not playing very well. Also, the matchup that Shepard tends to help in a lot of times also is the fast combo decks with Force of Will protection. So that is a thing, for what it's worth. This tends to be the hand that we kind of lose to um, 8 cast, by the way, where they have like a fast Saga backed by Shadow Sphere. We give them an island here, but I think it's definitely worth it just to have bomb in our hand right now. I don't understand the pause on this. Like, well, that does things. I think we sequence appropriately here and play the Birch Lore. This is ridiculous now. The reason being is because if they want to force, we force a redundant spell, right? That's why I didn't run out the Reclaimer. Like, they have some kind of disruption, so we're playing around it. Like, they're pausing every year. Actually, this a small sequencing mistake by me. I think there you want to go Warwood first. Though I left 3 mana open for the endurance. There's presumably either a cage is coming, I think. That's reasonable, I guess. We get blown the you know what out here. It, okay, the interesting that they would do that main phase. They're gonna equip the construct here, which is fine, and then attack. We're gonna, before declaring blocks, flash in the endurance and then see what they do. And then we could just kill this. They can only kill one of our creatures, but I think it's worth it because it messes up their mana. So they're gonna go to 14. Yeah, I think we kill it here. And it actually shrinks their other ones too. So I think that was a decent trade. Um, didn't matter. I was concealing it, yeah. In case they, I don't know. They probably have to force that regardless, but I don't know what is going on here. Why do they have 5 cards in hand? Again, that was closer than it needed to be, and maybe that just means like we have to play the fourth shepherd now. Like, but the thing is, I hate that card against like these non-blue decks. Or sometimes your opponent would just have like, I don't know, all your opponent will have like the all removal hand, and they just ignore it, right? They don't have permission. Thank you for the follow. Vendilion Misclick. Isn't it just too useful to pass? Yes and no, I think. It tends to be a little bit awkward against these non-blue decks. And also, if your opponent is good, they can play around it a little bit. Like what I mean by that is sometimes you draw two and your opponent has all removal, they're gonna ignore it. Like because essentially you're just down 2 cards, right? And of course, obviously, when I go to that play the fourth shepherd, it's gonna have. Oh my god, why? Why? Actually, I know why. They're grinding for the showcase tomorrow. I mean, we're dead anyways. I used to play Alice when Cameron's time was around. uh, do we actually care? Like I don't think they can whiff from here. Aside from just drawing all of their Narc Amoebas. We'll just play it and see. There's some info. This may throw them off too that I didn't do anything turn one. Sure. All right, now we're dead. There's a Oracle. There's alright. We'll concede here. This matchup is near unwinnable. Your opponent pretty much has to throw for you to win, or their deck has to not cooperate, because our deck just does not line up well against what they do. Like we're not we by playing this deck we're essentially conceding turn one combo, in the form of Oops and Belcher and the Epic Gamble. Like we just accept we're gonna lose to those decks. We can beat the turn two combo decks or Reanimator, but we cannot beat this deck. Um, let's see. Actually, today might be a bad time to play elves because of all the people playing oops to qualify for the showcase tomorrow. Might be a great time to play blue red, right? That beats up on these decks. Uh, I can see like just entering the queues right now with blue red, just like getting buys against these kind of decks. I don't. I mean, to try to murderous cut and whatever is kind of loose. I think. The force of vigor here is to hit Leyline of the Void. Sorry, Leyline of Sanctity, which is very difficult for us to beat. What was our other loss to? Oh, we lost to Entomb's Day. We beat. Yeah, I despise playing against this deck because I don't think it's particularly healthy for Legacy. Not because I think the deck's like probably fine. It's just like I don't know how healthy it is for Legacy. I think we got them all. It's more reasonable. They probably yeah. It's very difficult to beat that card. I think we just ramp here, right? I don't mind non-interaction. It's just like this deck in particular puts so much pressure on non-blue decks in Legacy. Like I don't mind even playing against like the Epic Gamble or like some of these other decks, or the Epic Storm, and it's perfectly fine in my opinion. The issue becomes that this puts a lot of pressure on the non-Force of Will decks. What's happening here? So they have a million whatever already. And then the Thassa's Oracle, is it in the yard or no? Yes, it is, and so is. Let me see if the dread return is in the yard. If nothing else, it's like good information for the future, but very anticlimactic game for sure. Looks like the dread return is in their yard. Yeah, I think so. I think maybe we should just queue up blue, red, red. Just like punish these players. We'll see. Legacy Council. I don't know yet. All right, we'll concede now. Yeah, I would imagine. I mean, I've seen other people do this. Actually, if you want to get free wins, now would be a good time to just queue up leagues and just play blue red with sideboard for Leyline of the Void, because you probably run into more of these kind of players. All right, to round 5. Or run into reanimator players, right? Oh. Hey, Demosian, how's it going? We're 2-2. I don't think anything could have been done in our 2 losses. Unfortunately, this is not like great testing at the moment. We lost to Oops just now, where they just had Leyline Sanctity and we're just dead. Um, yeah, actually, maybe the second league here. I'm just gonna queue up 4 Leyline of the Voids. This player is usually on the Echo Karn deck. Yeah, maybe, yeah. 4 Leyline the Void, uh, 4 Endurances between the 75. Just like not lose to the Oops players. 4 Traps. For Wasteland. Although Wasteland is like less good, right? Yeah, I don't think Ooze is particularly playable at the moment. Unfortunately. I love myself a Scavenging Ooze, but I don't think it's playable right now. They did nothing turn 1. I mean, it's gotta be Wombo Combo, right? Speaking of which. Alright, I picked the wrong day, I think, to do testing, because this is gonna happen, I think, more times. As people just try to oops their way to QPs. Wow. Now they just lose, right? No, what's happening is they're trying to gather the last QPs and just grind leagues at 3-2 or 4-1. And Oops is the fastest deck. You can do like 3 leagues in an hour or whatever with Oops. Yeah, so if you really want to farm these Oops players, you can just like queue up with Leyline of the Void or whatnot. one short, unfortunately, of what I want to do. Um, if I visionary here, it's kind of dangerous, right? I go to one, and then I can tap for three and untap it, but I don't think that's where I want to be. Well, actually, the other thing I can do here is I can visionary, and then yeah, okay, let's do that. If we visionary here, we can still. We just have to not draw the collector oof. I mean the bog. And then from here, we have lethal next turn, so we just have to not die, right? All right, let's see. Oracle's here. Where's the memories journey? You have main deck Basaja? I do. I think we just do it now. We don't want them to like do anything crazy here. Yeah. Also, I guess if you look at their list, if it's 61 cards, then that tells you what they have, right? Let's see. They have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. So they're on 60 cards, yeah. That's a disadvantage, by the way. That's on Moto of 61 cards. Your opponent can tell what you're on because like if you're on 61, you've given away your goblins, for instance. Yeah, I wanted lethal the following turn, which is why I played the cards out. As long as I didn't hit the bog with the draw step, we win. Otherwise, it wasn't lethal. And I'm gonna play the percentages there, right? It's like 2% or whatever to hit. Here we're on the draw. I just don't think it's fast enough. Right, that's fair. I think here, like, they might just try to T1 us. I don't know, it's hard to say. I feel like this is probably too slow, but they slow down for whatever it's worth. Hey Gabriel, how's it going? I'm debating whether I think they're gonna try to turn one us or not. Hmm, that's like reasonable, I think. I'm gonna keep. No Leyline of Sanctity. I cannot believe they just went for a cold with no protection. Maybe they have the force of negation. Let's take a look. Red return. Alright, we'll see. Yeah, maybe they know. I don't know what's going on. Why they don't have Leyline of Sanctity here. Alright, we can see. I guess in this situation it was Mole. They probably have pack in their hand. We have 2 packs here in the sideboard. Sorry, 3 in the graveyard. No, 4. Wow, they just. That's insane to me. They kept a hand with no protection. Unless they like leveled us up, like they thought, oh, we're gonna mold to something like endurance, or that we thought. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of insane to me. It is insane to me what's going on here. No, they should have Leyline of Sanctity, right? Is what I'm saying, Gabriel. All right. Uh, we take this. Well, they go off otherwise. I'm tempted to take the pack there, to be honest, but probably not. Although if we take the pack, then they probably take the endurance and leave the duress. All right, we untap here, we win. And we probably do. I think the only way we lose now is we can even hit that, but I don't think we want to. We can just actually straight up Stone Rain hit them here. Yeah, I think that's over right there. That's just too much to overcome. Again, I think we only won this one because they lost to themselves game 1. We lost to Entombsday, so they reanimated us game one, and then they had Doomsday game two. We beat Mono Black Depths, we beat ACAS, and then we lost to Oops, and then we beat Oops. I think people are grinding with Oops for QPs right now, so maybe that means we should just play Leyline of the Void, right? Like, I hate doing that, but it's just annoying to have to play against that. Yeah, I think they probably don't know the matchup. Um, what do you think, chat? Should we play Leyline of the Void to try to... I know, Gabriel, but the thing is, like, tomorrow is a showcase, and I think what's happening is there's just a lot of players right now, probably just grinding QPs just to play the showcase. So maybe we should just play Layla of the Void if this is gonna be what the metagame looks like at the moment. If people are just grinding. My intent Langlands is to play it, but I mean there is a non-zero chance I oversleep or something like that. We'll see. I definitely don't play the normal challenges because I don't want to wake up at 8 o'clock on a Sunday. Uh, and the Saturday one is just even more unreasonable. There's no way I'm waking up at 4 a.m. In the morning. Um, Obviously, if we want to hedge against that right now, against these oops decks, we just play. Actually, no. I want the good practice. If people want to grind with oops, so be it. Like, what I could do is like play. Well, if I play Leyline, it'd be over like the Force of Vigor. No, Gabriel. I'm saying in addition to endurance. If people are just gonna try to cheese quick leagues with Leyline, I mean with oops. Yeah, I think if I play Leyline, I cut the duresses, I probably cut the force, and I cut the crop for 4 Leylines. If I really think I'm going to run into that a lot right now. I don't think surgical is a playable card in elves. Quite like that's my opinion on that card. It doesn't have any synergy, and I don't really understand why people like playing surgical, except to copy the blue players. But the blue players can find it. We cannot, right? We could do that. That is not like unreasonable. Um, I do like in these showcases there tends to be more like fair matchups, like lands, and I think crop rotation is insane against lands. I don't know how likely we can run into somebody like that right now, but I guess worth trying. Let's just run it back. I think I'd rather have a good practice instead of just trying like metagame. Who knows? Maybe it's a necessary evil, but if that's the case, then I'm just not gonna in the future try to queue leagues the night before or the day before a showcase. Although if you go 3-2 with oops, is that even worth it? Like it's like one QP, right? Unless you really just need one or two, right? Yeah, thanks, Gabriel. I do think the sideboard is very good. And if we run into the oops player trying to grind QPs, then so be it. We're playing against somebody who's 0-2. That is a little bit scary. Although, I don't think they're on oops if they're 0-2. And the logic is they might as well just restart the league here, right? This is practically a mole already, so I'm a mole. Red Prison makes more sense in my opinion. Given the Bird of Paradise avatar, somebody maybe from another format or whatnot just trying to play Red Prison for the format. Uh, I see, Gabriel. I mean, we're gonna mold this regardless, right? Like this hand is slow. We have essentially almost like a 2.5 mulligan here. Yeah, but if you're going 3-2, Forza Mano, like even if you're getting a lot of leagues in, if you're getting only one QP in theory per se at a time, I'm not even sure that's worth it, right? Because you have to play 5 times as much, presumably. This hand is a little bit soft to Blood Moon right now, unfortunately. Looks like it's not Oops and probably Elves. Yep. Now I see why they're 0-2. This is not really the type of deck to pick up if you're a new player. 40 are needed. I have like, I don't know, 120 or whatever. So it's kind of waste. I wish I could just like use it on something else, but it is what it is. I think we take the Shepherd just because it's a 1-drop here. And we just want to curve out and hope we hit natural order. I could, yeah, Inigo. I haven't, but I could. I just haven't had like the time worth it for me is often not. By the time I want to do it, it's like too late. Yeah, that is a. We lose to Cradle natural order here, but or creature Cradle natural order we lose to, but their hand is quite slow. No worries, Gabriel. I mean, I also don't really care too much, especially for league purposes, to know what my opponent is on. I'd rather get the better practice. I think that is more worthwhile than anything else in the long term. Obviously, all of this should be like mindless. If it's not, then you might need to brush up on your elves. Alright, we have a kill next turn. The only time I will do it, Inigo, is if I see my opponent is Eric Landon. Then I will, and it's only if I'm on the play. If I'm on the draw, I won't do it. Because, like, if you're on the draw and against Reanimate, it's not enough to have Reclaimer. Iron Claw, I won't do it because it's not going to matter, right? If they're on Belcher. They have not been on Belcher, by the way. They've been on. We're going to just yield here. Um, they have not been on Belcher. They've been on like these mono black Dark Ritual Fair decks lately. I guess might as well. It's really actually no. Why am I messing around? With regards to trying to predict what my opponent is on, I try not to do that because Elves is not a deck that can really afford to. What I mean by that is it's a critical mass deck. You don't want to guess wrong and suddenly you're down cards for no reason. Also, game one we just kind of conceded for the most part that we're gonna lose the combo outside of the random oof, right? Uh, if it is a known reanimator player and only if on the play, Then I made Mulligan to see if I can find the endurance or the reclaimer, the one of endurance or the reclaimer, right? But that's like the minority. Like that doesn't. There's exactly one player that happens with. Snuff out is amazing here in the mirror. Then we can board out a Shepherd and maybe a Visionary and a Warwood. Just keep the speed, mostly speed. I love the that hoof emblem there, that Langlands and Inigo. That sorry, that Carl and Inigo. I think Carl is Langlands, right? And Inigo are using. I could have for the time being. That may or may not be a mistake. Sure. I think here we're gonna put back the Shepherd. This game is gonna be really grindy. I don't. That's a card we don't care about. This card is absolutely insane in these creature combo matchups. Take the creature. We take the natural because I think that's the only thing we're scared of. What else do they have? They don't have. They have Warwood. I don't think we need to like snuff out the heritage jewelry for no reason. Right, one card force of will, right? In these creature combo matchups, it's just absolutely absurd. Okay, they're playing the Nettle version, which I don't think I care. Um, Presumably we're gonna kill them before the damage matters. Although like it's like, do we care about the Nettle or do we care about the War? Probably the War would, in case they draw the Visionary. I think we can Visionary and then start to grind them out. They're probably playing an outdate. No, well maybe. I think here, where we probably just want to ramp, to be honest. Do we want to snuff out now? Probably. So they don't get to untap. They want to decay or Birchler by all means. Nice. I think we need to seize here, just to make sure. Yep. We're pretty ahead. We had to take the C's there just in case, I think. And now they're kind of stuck. That's probably the best draw they could have asked for multiple reasons. If I were them, you bash with both. Yep. Damage not gonna matter. We can potentially hold for the hoof, I think. So we have lethal next turn. We just have to not die here. Yeah. The bring decay is just awful. That has nothing to do with rusty or not. That's just a bad play in my opinion. Or bad sideboarding. They have vigilance netto, but I mean I would get to be honest, this matchup skill level matters not that much. It matters some in my opinion. I think so too, Gabriel. I think it's obvious that they're new to the deck because bringing decay in is just awful. Ugh. The bog is like pretty bad, and the two natural orders is kind of bad. I'm mulligan this. This is kind of worse, but I don't want to go to 5, so. Well, well, well. We have the guy's cradle. There's no need to get nervous, Inigo. I'm just a normal player like you are. So we're playing as Painter. We're gonna bash here, and then we'll see what we draw. Okay. Better lucky than good, right? Okay. Yeah, I did. I think a younger Newton would have kept the other hand, and just probably got punished. I I think it's definitely correct here to not. Do we want to bash? I feel like probably. Like, what are we afraid of here? Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's possible they have another welder, but I think the damage is like worth it, just in case. Thank you for the follow, EDZCWB. I think we do it like this. I actually should have played the endurance. That was a mistake. For more damage. That was a mistake. Well, that helps. Actually, did we even switch the shepherd for the birch lord? I don't think we did. Shoot. Now that I think about it, let's see. We did not. Might have. Well, I guess we can see how it plays out. Yeah, I did. So that might be a mistake. Boarding the. Oops, wrong one. I think this matchup, I don't like the shepherds, and then I don't like the glimpse of nature. I think we just want to be a control deck, and then rely on natural order. There are some players who want to just like randomly blood moon me. I think we keep the grist just well. That's kind of annoying. I think just in case we'll play it like this. We keep the black available for the grist if need be. It's also good with snuff out. Although some pilots may name black with painter. Okay, there's that. It sort of does. The reason why I don't like discard in this matchup is because a lot of times they're hellbent. Like they just like empty their hand, and try to like, hide behind a bridge. Um, I don't think bridge ever really works, to be honest. But like I think bridge only works against like bad players. really annoying. Hmm. Actually, that was a misplay by me. I should have just played the Wirewood and the Druid because they could just actually kill my stuff this turn. Right? They sacrificed, put the pedal back, and then they welded it back in. So that was a misplay by me. Wow, our opponent completely threw right now. They sequenced it wrong. But I mean, we threw first, I guess, to be honest. For those who don't know what just happened, actually, I'm sequencing poorly here. Our opponent used the wrong welder, and they couldn't bring the twin shot back, and now we have a chance to get back in the game. So we threw first by sequencing incorrectly, but if we didn't throw and if they did it correctly, it wouldn't have mattered because they would have been able to kill one of our creatures anyways. So that, but eventually we would have been able. Well, because we drew the bog, it was like kind of awkward. But yeah, they threw and then now we're in the game. Inigo, Goblin Welder, Goblin Engineer cannot get a 4-drop back. Our punt was less egregious. Theirs was very bad. Ours was pretty bad, but theirs was worse. So here, notably, they're probably gonna name the Reclaimer. And I mean, there's an off chance they name Waterwood. I don't think so though. You don't play Reclaimer to not activate it. So why do they have Emrakul the Promise? Okay, never mind. That's something else. I'm thinking of. Do we care? Probably not. Not yet, at least. Here, not bouncing, working to our advantage. Alright, I'm gonna sequence this correctly. If we go the other way, we play a Waterwood, we go down to 2, we unbounce, we don't have enough. Okay, so this is correct. And hope we draw 1-drop or land. That's not the worst. How many needles do we think our opponent has here? Sure. They probably bash with 2. We can block 1. It's no rush. They're at 8. We go to 5. I think we can play around 2 bolts. One reason to block here is we have an extra wirewood in hand already, so a little bit free, but I don't think we do. We go to 5. I don't think we play around 2 bolts here. Presumably the bolt will go to oof too, is the reason. If they have the 1. Like our guys gets so much better. We have to block next turn, but I think that's fine. Speaking of the devil. We've used 2 of them. I'm doing this so I have another attacker. Probably not necessary, but could be. Alright, we still have a green sun. Do we even care? Like, we have all 4 notably symbiotes out. I think we can do this. And then from here, I think we just do this. And then plus. I think that's reasonable. We have the kill already. We just have to not die here. Sure. Actually, don't even need to do that. They're tapped out. No need to mess around. Yeah. Our opponent threw though, so asterisk on this game. Like a monumental throw from their side. I mean, there's a good chance they don't even know who I am for what it's worth. But yeah, a monumental throw on their end. Let me get some water as this queues up. The strongest list that I've ever had. Great question, Gabriel. From a metagame perspective or just from a power level perspective? Because those are two different things too. I think from a metagame perspective, the Lurrus list was just completely broken because the matchup against Delver was just it was way too good. From the metagame perspective, yeah, actually, EW 2021 was pretty good too. From a metagame because we had like Force of Vigors in the sideboard again for 8 cats and D&T. 3 people made Eternal Week top 8. 4 if you count Fluffy 21. Shout out to them for making the top 8 last week. Um, Martin, I think his last name is Nielsen. I could be wrong, or Lindstrom, one of the two. Probably Lindstrom actually. Now that I think about it, but I think from a power perspective, maybe now that's a possibility. Because it might be right now because Baseju is pretty nuts. I think. Oops. Yeah, Lindstrom. So thank you for the correction. Forza Mono. I think here we just take the Cradle. It's just too good. If you're just talking about cards by the individual cards by itself, I think Shaman is way more powerful. But the tools alongside Alex Sword Shepherd is just way stronger in my opinion. That's a new one. Vista with Wasteland in the same deck. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe they have Stifle up or something. I don't know. Let me do that. They want to Daze the Water what they can. I think in terms of just raw power level, it's probably the list right now. I think from a metagame perspective, it might be like Inigo said, Eternal Week in 2021, which is insane for the deck. Like all the things align from a metagame perspective. I think we just bash first and see. Shaman is way more powerful in my opinion. Like my personal opinion is, I don't even think Shepherd is even the strongest creature in this deck. I think it's Reclaimer. Let me see what I want to do here. Yeah. I think the second strongest creature in the deck also might not even be Shepherd. It's what the heck is going on? I think there's an argument to be made that Shepherd is number 3 behind Endurance. Insect is up there too, but I think from a raw power level perspective, Insect's probably behind Shepherd. Insect is very good though. Oh my god. Agent? Oh, okay, sure. I don't care about that. What the heck is going on? If they had Agent, Jesus Christ. I think we want to main phase this. And the reasoning here is... Actually, hold on. I'm going to bash first. I doubt it matters, but... I think this list with cards like Reclaimer and Adopting so like oof. I agree for some mono. I believe this is the most from a raw perspective, the strongest version we've ever seen. We don't want them to get the value off the thing twice. That's why I'm doing it now. I don't know what's going on here. I feel like our opponent's just playing like Stifle dot deck. Yeah, so Shaman would easily fit in right now and probably take the spot of the Heritage Druids. And then that would probably be the strongest version we've ever had. And add in Lurrus, right, obviously. From a metagame perspective, it might be EW 2021, right? Because Ragavan helps us, in my opinion. I think since then, from a metagame perspective, we're a little bit worse. I think we do it like this. So this is a mistake I see a lot of people make. They would tap the Bayou and the Forest, but then if you draw something relevant off the once, then you have to tap the Cradle anyways. Hmm. Is it bad for you to put the stack window on the left of the screen, where it's a little bit bad to see? I guess I can do it like this. I don't. Yeah, that's like reasonable. Hold on, let me see if I can redo that. I'm just like I don't know. It's what I'm used to, I guess. Here we're down to 2 mana. We can't kill anyways. Probably, to be honest, I think we just take the Shepherd here. We're not going to play scared here. Hull Breacher maybe? Sure. I don't think we care. They probably take the Wirewood, I would imagine. Or they chump the Endurance. It's one or the other. Heritage has no so 5, 6, 7. Sure. Here I'm gonna go ahead and bounce the Heritage. The reason being is because we have lethal regardless. And I think if they have removal, I want to play this out, but hey, Spy Man, that's pretty funny. Uh, I think elves is, I think the best in general, the best way to beat a deck, Spy Man, is to play the deck yourself, because you tend to learn the choke points of the deck. So, for instance, if I was struggling against, I don't know, I'm just throwing out a deck list there, lands, right? Okay. If I'm struggling against lands, I would probably play lands myself to try to beat it. Uh, this is I don't know what I'm playing against here. Like I don't. It's like they have Wasteland in their Supreme Verdict deck. It just doesn't make any sense. With basics, usually you don't see that. Basics, a deck with a lot of control deck with basics with Wasteland in the same deck. Supreme Verdict, sure, but what is that? Sure. Me on lands that for sure. Yeah, that's awesome to hear, Spy Man. Um, Notably, they have not played. All right. What is going on here? I don't understand. I think we're gonna lose to this pile. What the heck is going on? This is the second card I've had to read now. What is going on? This is the exact type of deck that I would lose to, because I have no idea how to play against it. Right? Like they can have anything. We play this in case we draw a top deck arbor, fetch. Ugh, that's the worst card. I think we lost, to be honest, which is unfortunate. Like, oh, what is going on? The Nimble Obstructionist, Wasteland, Supreme Verdict, ton of basics deck. I don't know what's going on. Well, our deck is not really built to play against these things. I think post-board we should be favored though, because what ends up happening a lot is Thoughtseize tends to rip these kind of decks apart. We probably have a Source of Plowshares or something that they have to deal with, or they have a Stifle potentially. Or I mean, 5 cards, right? They probably have Force of Will. I mean, you assume at least. Probably does, but it's just like usually you don't have room for that basics plus Wasteland. I cannot believe I'm losing to this, but it's gonna happen. I think we've already lost. If anybody wants, I'll just concede right now. They have 5 cards in hand. We have 0. I don't know what is going on here. I guess we can see more of their deck. That's like one reason to play it out. All right, we'll concede. Now the game's over. Cannot believe what I'm seeing. All right, we're gonna board in this card. It tends to be insane against these kind of decks. Do we care about endurance? Probably not, I would imagine. Then we have the bog. Sure. I think, yeah, I have to think about whether I want the 4th Shepherd or not. I feel like probably the upside is too high, especially since I expect there's gonna be a ton of chalice decks tomorrow. So before I forget, let's go ahead and do this. Oops, what's going on? Keep. No, I don't think we want duress. I think that's a little bit too much on the. Yeah, I gotta make this smaller. I think it's a little too narrow. It can't take creatures. It is kind of a big deal. I guess I just take the fetch. Notably, the nice thing about this line here is you can go Shepherd into Gris. Sequencing here is really important. We do not want to expose that we can cast the Gris as well. So they have to have exactly swords into force. Yeah, Gris tends to be insane against these kind of decks too. Technically speaking, they could have actually we're gonna if they have yeah, let's do it this way. If they have priest, we want to be able to kill it. Alright, so that was easy mode. Awkwardly have the hoof in our hand, but I think we keep. I think we run this out for the same reason why. I think we run this out for the same reason why we fetch Bayou the previous turn, the previous game. Sorry, is because in case we draw the Cradle, we can do everything at the same turn. What is going on? There's a chance they have Stifle, by the way, up. Like, you don't know with this kind of player. Sure. I think here we ramp again, and we're not going to play around second Wasteland. For the same reason I mentioned before, right? Alright. So I think what I'm gonna do here is I want to be able to protect the Shepherd. Actually, let's do it like this. I want to be able to protect the Gris with Shepherd and through Prismatic Ending. So I'm gonna actually lead with that and then do this. In the event they have another creature, I'm not gonna attack here, and then I'm gonna plus. Maybe they kill something. I don't know. This is like hard control, essentially, what we're playing against. Why in the world did they just do that? It seems that way for Samano. They might have that removal spell that they played that for game one here for the Grist, but I don't know. That being in the deck is kind of annoying too. I don't really know what's going on. We're gonna lose our Grist this random one up here. Just kind of insane. Nice. If nothing else, at least the Grist put like 3 cards we didn't really want to see on in the graveyard and gave us 3/1/1 insect tokens. Like a Cradle off the top here wins the game against their very strange Lutri non-companion deck. What do they pitch to the Force? Okay, so they at least have 4 forces, presumably. I think we're gonna bash with the insect tokens here. The Sudden Edict's looking really bad against us right now. Yeah, I think it's over here. In hindsight, maybe we leave the maybe we leave the 1 token back, but I wanted to see how they played against it. All right, 2 more. Maybe we can get a 5-0. We'll see. Asterisk though on our matchups so far, all 3 of them to be fair. Opponent seemed like new to the deck, Elves deck. Huge punt here in the Painter matchup, and we are playing at some pile. So 3 asterisks so far. We're really 0-0. Um, One thing, yeah, it's highly possible. Uh, we shouldn't attack there with that one token, but I wanted to see how they responded. Namely, so that we can potentially pressure with more later on. If they tap out, they were not really a tap out deck though, for what it's worth. Like, especially Think Twice is a classic control card in Standard. Um, what was I gonna say? Yeah, Think Twice is a classic control card in Standard, and the big thing is like against these decks, you have to be aware of flash creatures. This is a mole, 5 lands. Keep. This one it kind of matters like what you think your opponent is on. I think in the dark I would put the Collector Oof back, and hope they're a fair deck. The Green Sun Zenith is off of a Trump is fair, so that's good. Um, Here I think we play it safe. Drawing the another 4th land here is kind of awkward though. 3 is kind of the ideal. Yikes. I don't believe we can afford to attack here because they could have Ice Fang. If it's Yorion's, no, they're not Yorion's. They don't have 80 cards. I was gonna say this is a good matchup if they're on that. I do not know what they're on. Some kind of similar probably with Green Sun Zenith. Here we're gonna slam I think the Gris. Ideally we draw a Shepherd here to protect it. That is like reasonable, I guess. Might draw a Force, but I guess it did not. What is going on? Turn 4 hasn't done anything yet? Supreme? Out of a Green Sun deck? Natural Order? What is going on? Oh, maybe it's a combo deck. Oh my god. Oh my god. They're playing our deck. That is okay. This is kind of funny. The other thing it could have been was like. Oh, they're playing Finale too? Interesting. Oh, it's a very different build. It's a very different build. All right, now it's lethal. Well, how the tables turn. How the tables turn. Interesting. All right, we're gonna play Snuff Out because I think the instant speed is like insane. The Force of Vigor, notably, pretty hot here too. I don't think we want the Progenitors. The Seizes, I think, are good. No Bog, no Endurance, no Oof. I know. Actually, the Oof is kind of interesting here. Because you can just shut off like their stuff. Yeah, I actually think I like it. Do we care about the Gris? They're a Green Sun deck? Probably not. I think we just want to kill. They could have Leo or something like that. I don't think so though. This is kind of funny actually. It would be somewhat poetic if we. No, I don't think so. Inigo. Cut is a little bit slow. Also, their win is at instant speed. Keep that in mind. Keep. This is kind of funny. If we lose the 5-0 because of this, for those who are following me for the first time today, or just haven't been following what I've been up to lately, I 5-0 twice this week with a Yorian devoted druid list. And it will be really poetic justice, I guess, if I lose the 5-0 here because of that list. Because of a similar list on devoted druid. Not the same, obviously, but... Pedal? What is going on? It's just like an all-in deck, I guess. I don't know. I feel like we're dead. They probably mull it again aggressively, if I were to guess. But, I don't know. What I should have done was, I should have attacked, because it was, well, I guess it wasn't free. Oh, they're gonna cast Natural Order here. What the heck is going on? They're playing Finale because I'm guessing they're gonna get Stoneforge Mystic here. Oh, they're getting that? Okay, that works too, I guess. It's sweet, but to be honest, I think these kind of decks get broken up really easily. Like, you're playing a lot of bad cards. It's just our deck we can't interact is the only problem. Huh? This is like the port of the modern version. Alright, we're dead. We just lost to a modern deck. More or less. Uh, it is what it is. The thing about those decks though is they lose to any disruption. It's just like they're never beating Delver, like those kind of decks. We just take the loss and move on. Like, if you don't have the Druid, the Vizier is really bad, and if you don't have the combo, Druid is like pretty medium. Finale is like pretty medium. We're playing against Tree Stem. Keep just double checking the Progenitus is in the deck. Otherwise, we have to mold his hand. So, Inigo, this is exactly why I think we have to play a second natural order target. It's hands like this. Otherwise, it's a mulligan. What is going on? They just mold a 4 and concede? My guess is they're probably on either 8-cast or D&T and think this is a bad match. Or they're playing a combo deck that is like, well, they mold a 4. So if they were a combo deck, they probably would have continued to mull. My guess is they're probably on 8-cast or D&T, and they just want to mull aggressively. Do we bother to do anything? 8. Okay, so if they are on some kind of these bad decks per se, right? How do we want to board? Or not bad decks. Decks weak to elves. If they're really weak to elves, I think. I think we don't do anything, and just like I mean, it's like one or the other, but I think we just do nothing here, right? This is a mole. This is okay, I guess. If it's 8-cast, we just auto win with this card here. There's a chance they're on combo, but if they're on combo, they might as well go to 2. Oh, Moon Stompy. Okay, not the worst to not board. I guess, yeah, you can call this combo, I guess. Oh, what am I doing? I'm like, did not pay attention there. Oops. That was on me. Just not paying attention. The good thing is I actually don't think it matters, which is the sad part about this matchup. Yeah. Sure, there's the Blood Moon that we were anticipating. I don't think we block. Yeah, I don't think we block. There's an... I think we do this line here. Obviously, if they have Fury, it's like real bad here. Tangle Wire, interesting. think why it works well for them. I don't think we block. This is very awkward. I think the line here is to get the shepherd to play through the chalice. Yeah, exactly, Gabriel. A little bit awkward. I threw away the other visionary. I mean the reclaimer, but I think it probably doesn't matter. In the grand scheme of things, at least. Actually, we're down to creatures. It does matter. It's not us not paying attention. So here they can just make more goblins, I guess. That's what they want to do. Another blood moon, sure. Um, sure. We take 4. Go to 11. They just have more treasure tokens. That's fine. I don't think we care. The part that hurts is just throwing away the reclaimer because I think it may matter now. Hmm. That doesn't matter. That's the plan. That is the plan. We would have another reclaimer on board. I'm just kind of mad about that. Oh, that's bad for us. We have all these treasure tokens now. Go to 6. That's fine. I don't think I care. How many is on there? 2? Ooh, that's pretty good actually. Yeah, not having the second reclaimer now is like really starting to cost us this game. Because we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana getting close to lethal. I think what's gonna happen is we're gonna lose this game and then win the next game. Hopefully. Let's see how they attack. Let's see if they go face or do they go Gris. Because that changes our attacks. Everybody face, sure. Alright, I think with that, we're gonna do this. And we can double block, I guess. Might stabilize here, to be honest. Ooh, that's actually really good. We can actually now just Boseiju the Kikijiki and then start bashing, right? Like they have one card left. What is it? I wonder what that card could be. I think just in case. Well, we may have to kill the Kikijiki anyways. So let's do it like this. I'm gonna plus here. And then destroy the Kikijiki. Probably could have done this a little bit better. Argument to be made, maybe we just want to attack with a Birch Lord too. Killing was an option. There's 2 Blood Moons out. Unless I'm missing something else, Dragon Dawn. Hopefully they don't have any burn. The thing that is the thing that hurt us was missing the Chalice on turn 1. Hopefully we recover, but we'll see. Notably, they don't have the Fury just yet. If they did, they probably would have already played it. Maybe they just have Tangle Wire still in it. Okay, they have 2 cards. Wonder what the last 2 cards are. Don't kill the giant. Yeah, that was what I was debating. I don't think that's correct. I think that's correct, what we're doing here. Actually, Dragon's right. I messed up. I should not. I should have left 1 back just in case. That was a misplay by me. So 4 or 5. Yeah, we would have been able. I'm like playing real sloppy here. They probably attack still, I think. But I think going forward now we don't screw that up like the way we just did right now. So we'll see. We missed it first, but maybe they'll miss it this time. Sure. Let's see how they do it. Very awkward. We got exactly punished there. Alright, we didn't play around and now we got punished. Okay, we that would have been 3 as well. 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, yeah, that's just bad. Alright, at least now we know what they're doing. And we can board accordingly. Argument to be made for the Caracas as another land, but I think the crop has a higher upside. We threw that game though, in a few different ways. Uh, yeah, pretty much just because it's a 3-4. They have a hard time beating it, in my opinion. Keep. I think they have a very difficult time beating 3-4s. Is my experience. Maybe a challenge coming. One entire fury to beat, sure. Blood Moon? Sure. That one's interesting, I guess. The awkward part about here is we drew both forests. So I don't really want to fetch away the basic there. But I have to grow the reclaimer too, so sure. Their hand here was significantly better than the other games. I think here we probably just don't do anything. And we block with the endurance if need be, if they attack. I don't think we can block because we have no pressure otherwise. Oh, we can never get to 3 mana. I think oh, man, we're gonna lose this to this deck. All right, that's good. I think now we block. We'll see what they do though. Sure, that makes it easier for us. We can plus first, I think. Well, if we minus, they play a Rabble Master. That's real bad. I think the first step is probably plus. Yeah, that was a scenario I was afraid of. If I plus again here, I get extra mana. Yeah, I think I want the mana. Well, actually, no. Yeah, I think I want the extra mana. I can go Heritage into the Reclaimer, and then but then that's a little bit dicier. Well, I think yeah, I think you just do it. Screw it. I'm not gonna play around Fury. There's 2 of them gone already. If they don't Fury here, they lose. I think. Or Blood Moon, I guess that's another one. I'm just hoping they main phase a creature again like they did last time. Okay, there's the Fury. They try to get. They have 3 Furies this game. We missed the opportunity last game by not cashing in. They may attack with everyone here. In this case, I kill the Legion War Boss. Um, I think Visionary here is kind of interesting. Actually, Collector Oof just takes them off red, period. So that might, well, yeah, I think I do that. Do I want to go to 5? Oh, sorry, go to 9, I guess. I think it's correct there to trade. Wow, that's an insane draw. I think that this just potentially locked up the game. We just need a natural order. Come on. That works. Yeah. All right. There we go. Harder than it needs to be, but we got there. We made it hard by throwing game 2. And then I think that game, I felt like we played okay. But game 2, we definitely threw. For 4-1, that was probably the first like real-ish match. Yeah, I can see like playing 1/4 of bigger Inigo. I mean, for whatever it's worth, Inigo, in the recent showcase or whatever, I played it 3 different times and I went 2-1. My loss was to the, well, you already know. My loss was to the person who went undefeated. So yeah, they had 3 Furies that game too. So for whatever that's worth. I personally think the matchup is fine, but that's me. It's the thing is like the cards we play are just like super high variance against it. So like the Force of Vigor can be good, but sometimes cannot be, right? And then the endurance there's like they have a hard time beating 3/4. Like sometimes they just nut draw you turn one Trinisphere, turn one Blood Moon, whatever. Like you just live with those games. You're not gonna win them anyways. Mulligan matters not for us but for them. Like they have to just try to turn one us essentially, and if they don't, they probably lose. If they're on the draw, especially. I think the list is fine. We notably we went 3-2 into we went 3-2 into 4-1. Uh, I already made the actually I didn't even make the change yet. I think this should probably be the one more and then go down on one Birch Lore. Just because I think the Shepherd will be relevant against these Chalice decks. Yeah, but then why would you fetch badly, Inigo? That doesn't make any sense, right? Like re-evaluation crop. What do you mean by that? So I think the main deck is fine. I think I'm gonna play four shepherds. Have you tried Sharpshooter Elf? I have not, and I'm not gonna try it. Dragon Dawn. Um, so the reason why I'm not gonna try it is I don't think it's good. Like I don't think it's even worth trying. The crop depends if it might actually be not worth it because if Blood Moon is popular, then the Merit Lage decks tend to be a lot worse. So I could definitely see it being like I don't know the first trap or the even the second force. But yeah, the thing is like I don't think there is one thing is like it's good against Reanimator. It's also good against any situation where we need a race. So possible maybe we want either the first trap or the second force, but I do think the crop rotation does a lot. The main deck otherwise feels good. Inigo, please play the second. Oh, sorry. Please play the eighth fetch. You're gonna lose games because of it, of not having consistent mana. I think aside from that, yeah, I'm okay with two cut one snuff. We didn't play against Delver, but I notably lost. I notably lost to Reanimator yesterday night playing for the 5-0. But they also had turn one unmask me, my endurance, and then I thought seized them turn one, but they had two reanimation spells. Like that's gonna lose regardless, unless you have leyline, and you have to of course play like four ley lines or something like that to consistently have it. Because it wasn't like I had the duress; it was a thought seize. But I actually my record, I'll bring it up. My record against Reanimator is very good. Let me bring it up. So here is my record as of late. How come this didn't update? This should have been a loss. Okay, I don't know. Regardless, I lost once recently with it, but again, 7-1 otherwise in the last 40 days or whatever it is. Yeah, I don't think Reanimator is bad. That's why I don't even bother. Like that's how much I disrespect Reanimator right now. I'm not even playing Leyline anymore. Okay, with that said, yeah, I think the list feels probably pretty good. It's probably 74 out of 75, maybe. Uh, our other losses, let me bring it up. What did we lose to earlier today? So we lost to the Devoted Druid deck, and in the other league, we lost to Entombsday, which we couldn't have beaten anyways. We had Mortal 5. And then we lost to Vendilion Click on Oops. So I don't think I'm really concerned, right? Like I don't care about Oops. Yeah, I can see. Actually, you bring up a good point, Gabriel. The reason why my record against Reanimator is really good is because if I don't die turn one, they're probably losing. Because turn two Reclaimer, either off Green Sun or off just naturally drawn, means the game's over. It's like kind of insane, right? You either have the turn one discard or endurance, or they lose the game. Because you have the turn two, it's like a 1-2 A plus B combo, right? Alright, with that said, I will go ahead and raid the Legacy Pits, I think. Alright, thanks everybody for joining today. Also, if you're curious again for my content, go ahead and, what is it called? Go ahead and subscribe via Twitch or whatever. You get the Patreon access for free. Alright, with that said, I'll go ahead and raid the Legacy Pit. No problem, Ola. Hopefully everybody learned a lot today. This is more informative stream than anything else. Thank you again.